Hey guys, it's my last day in Seattle. As you can see, I am driving. I have the sunroof open, enjoying a little bit of sun before it gets really cold. And running a couple errands before I head on out. So here's to the last day in Seattle. Hi guys, it's Cameron here. Morning. I'm in Pendleton, Oregon today. You can see my sunglasses and the visor as I try to get a good angle here. Long day yesterday. Flew from Washington to Seattle, ran a bunch of errands, sent a check for my new place in West Virginia, and then drove to Pendleton, Oregon. So I didn't think I was going to make it for a little bit because I just got super tired and I just kind of felt wore out. I had gotten up at like 4 in the morning in order to make a 7:30 a.m. flight because I had to turn in my rental car and security. You know, you never know how long that's actually going to be. So, managed to get out here though. So today we're headed to Ogden, Utah. It's about 7 hours. I'm getting a little bit of a late start. It's 9:15. I usually start around 7 or 8, so I kind of slept in today. So we're leaving Pendleton, Oregon, and we're off to Ogden, Utah, but first we're going to grab some gas. So, we'll check in throughout the day. Pulling into Boise. Oh, we're heading into Ogden, just stopped for gas, literally in the middle of nowhere. That's what it says on the gas pump. So, gotta head over some mountains here soon. Listening to podcasts, having fun. If you look closely, the gray SUV to the left, he and I just had a chuckle back at the gas station. He actually ran out of gas and had to roll down to the station. And that gas station is so little used. They only have one pump and frequently no one's there. I've stopped there a couple times before and there's always a sign that says back in a bit, but the pumps always work. So as long as you don't blow yourself up, it's fine. So everything's going pretty well. I think I need to have the car looked at when I get to Denver because there's a weird kind of transmission gremlin. I looked it up last night and I think it's a camshaft sensor that tells the transmission what the speed of the engine is. I think it might be having a little bit of problems because sometimes you floor it and the engine revs but nothing happens and then it kind of catches and then happens. So we're going to look into that when I get to Denver. It isn't happening now, so I'm going to keep going as best I can. We're going to be in Ogden in about an hour and just passing these trucks and leaving Idaho heading into Utah. Looks like we might have some snow ahead, but the trucks coming off the mountains aren't covered in snow, so I'm presuming it's snow around, but the road is fine. So, we'll day 2 of the road trip and almost to Denver. Hey guys, it's Cameron here. I just rolled into Ogden. Weird lighting because the light is only coming from one source over there. I love cheap hotels, as much as I love to hate them. I pulled in to this lovely Econo Lodge off I-15. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on hotels on this trip, so we kind of went low rent. which is fine, but I laugh because the door is really narrow. Like, I opened the door and promptly slammed my shoulder into the frame because the door is narrower than usual. Like, of all the places to cut costs, and you can see where they've cut off a side of the door and all that sort of thing and sanded it down and put it together. It's entertaining. So entertaining. Anyway, here in Ogden, they decided to not build a left turn lane into the road to get to this place. And of course, my car is totally loaded down. So starting from a standing stop and then getting up to speed to make even something like a left turn is fun. And especially with the like weird, sometimes transmission gremlin right now, it's kind of like a question mark because I could put my foot down and nothing could happen, at least briefly. So that was fun. And of course the cars were spaced perfectly apart so that you couldn't really hardly get through. And it was nighttime and hard to see. And we just love Utah. That's the moral of the story. We just love the land of Mormons and Mitt Romney. So I want to do a tour of selfie mirror, bathroom selfie mirror. A tour of this room because we love cheap hotels and they're amazing. So here's the non-standard door that's too wide. That's fun times. Then I want to take you in the bathroom. Now this is entertaining. For first, we have the usual too short shower head. Always a great choice. And then up here, we have the fan vent. Now let me draw your attention to this fan vent. You will notice that it is was held up at one time by some tape, but no longer. The tape has failed. It stopped now, but the light was a real seizure-inducing love affair when we arrived in here to take a simple shower. That's all I wanted to do, was take a shower. So, yeah, fun times. It works, though. I mean, the room sleeps and everything, but it's just amazing. Oh, the giant-ass TV stand. Now look at this here. Remember big old TVs, right? Or pieces of furniture. Well, this hotel's gotten innovative. They've gotten rid of the big nasty TV, but they decided to keep the piece of furniture, so there's just a big hole where my cooler is. Yeah, we love cheap hotel rooms. That's it for day 2 of travel. Tomorrow we pull into Denver, which is going to be fun times. And yeah, so I got some nice footage today. I didn't record the sign because I wasn't on top of it. It kind of crept up on me. But in Oregon, you cross the 45th parallel, which is halfway between the equator and the North Pole. So I might try to find a picture of that somewhere else and post it alongside this. Yeah, so Ogden, Utah, time to get some well-deserved relaxation and start into Denver tomorrow. I think we're about to enter Wyoming. As you can see, the road is dry, but there is snow all around. I'm following trucks currently, and I'm going to see if we can get some footage of the Welcome to Wyoming sign. I think the only sign I didn't get on this trip was leaving Washington because there was construction and I think the sign was taken down. I don't think I got one for Oregon, going into Oregon, because all the signs were down due to construction. So let's see around this bend if we can get welcome to the great state of Wyoming. There it is. We're passing the Evanston Point of entry, and there's the sign for the great state of Wyoming. We're super close now. Hey guys, it's Cameron here. We're in Wamsutter, Wyoming. Fun times. I just used the most weird, awkward bathroom, I think, that I've ever seen here at Love's Truck Stop. They are remodeling the men's room, and they have chosen to bring in a trailer for the men's room, which is cool. It's super tiny. It's super cramped, and if you use the urinal by the door, you get the lovely cold air of Wyoming straight on your dick, which is fantastic, as what just happened to me. So, as if things weren't already shrunk enough, that certainly did not do anything to improve the situation. So, we're here in fabulous Wyoming. Hopefully last fuel stop, doing my trip now. Hopefully last gas stop. About 300 miles out. So anyway, almost to the Denver leg of this trip. So I wanted to quickly explain about writing residencies and why I went to Canada, because people are confused. A writing residency is where writers are invited or apply to work on their projects at a specific location or place. A lot of institutions use it to bring artists into their environment. In this case, I was doing a writing residency in Blairmore, Alberta, through the University of Lethbridge. They had a small artist retreat area in the town of Blairmore that actually was a historic photography studio and cabin in the town that was put in the early 1920s. So it was a very wonderful place. Sometimes at residencies you have to do a community project or a reading or a class, something like that. I didn't have to do any of that this time. I was just able to write, and it was a really awesome experience. So we'll see the cottage and everything as soon as we get through the road trip to Canada. I missed the sign, but welcome to fabulous, very snowy Wyoming. As you can see, Cheyenne in 9. And here we are, we're out of Colorado. I think they took down the Leaving Colorful Colorado sign on this side because I didn't see it. And I didn't have my phone out for the welcome to Wyoming. But here we are, we're in Wyoming on our way to Alberta, Canada. We're back on the road here in Wyoming, just left Sheridan. I stopped at a Walmart for a couple things. I had a lot of extra stuff that didn't fit in my other luggage because I didn't use the biggest suitcase, which is full of other clothes from the move. So, yeah, I picked up a duffel bag and I picked up some undershirts because I definitely need some extra layers to deal with this cold. I also found us another super cheap thermal shirt, kind of a first layer, so I was happy about that. And it was only $3.50. Not a huge fan of Walmart, but I have to say they always have things priced right. So that was great. Anyway, and it seemed like it was market day in Sheridan because, oh my goodness, the Walmart parking lot was absolutely full. The Walmart was super busy. The self-checkout camera was super creepy. I looked like crap, but it was good. Got through that. Stopped at Arby's. Had some food. Hadn't really eaten today, so yeah. And this sign up ahead is reminding that there are slick spots. Turn off cruise control. I can see it better than you can. You're gonna see it here right now. So. Yeah, my ankle's a little hurting because I have not been using cruise control because road conditions. As you can see around, there's definitely fresh snow on the ground. So, yeah, so we're approaching Montana. Gonna pull into Billings probably the next hour and a half or so. And that's our cheap hotel for the night. So, yeah, probably last check-in today. So, see you tomorrow morning when we get back on the road. We're in Montana. Welcome to Great Falls, Montana, everyone. I am here. It snowed yesterday, so as you can see, the non-main roads are pretty packed. Do not come here in winter unless you have all-wheel drive because no one plows their gas stations, parking lots, anything like that. So, passing through Great Falls on our way to Canada. All right, we're here in Canada. We just crossed into the town of Sweetgrass, just left Montana, and we're about to do the border crossing. I need to get over, actually, into the car lane. Yeah, so here we are. After all this hubbub, I guess this is the line. Yeah, here we are at this, the border crossing. Trucks are there. U.S. Border Customs and Protection is up there. So here we are getting ready to go into Canada. Hey guys, it's Cameron here. Just checking in at the Canadian border crossing. Fun times. They had no clue what a writing residency is, all this type of thing, so I got sent inside to immigration and had to answer all the good questions like, did you bring money with you, all this sort of thing, what exactly it is that you're doing, all this sort of thing, if I'd ever been deported or refused entry into Canada or anything like that. So yeah, I was honest and I probably should have just said tourist is the moral of this story. So I made my immigration crossing probably unnecessarily difficult by bringing up the residency, but oh well. Anyway, we're finally in Canada, stamped into the country for the next month. Good morning, everyone. Oh, I look a mess. It's Cameron here. We are leaving Lethbridge. So I just got done scraping off the car last night. I came out at about 11:30, scraped the car off, started it, warmed it up so it'd be easier to start this morning. There was a little bit of hesitation, but otherwise it fired right up, so my plan worked flawlessly. However, it is literally so cold here, I had to finally give up and put on gloves and a hat. Like, I was outside maybe 2 minutes and my fingers were already like struggling, like grasping things, basic tasks, those types of things. So yeah, 2 degrees Fahrenheit is cold. So fun times. It's yeah, I had to go full gloves, full cap. This Sherpa hoodie that I'm wearing has stood me in good stead most of this trip, but I think we're gonna have to switch to the pea coat from now on, because yeah, this was kind of like barely keeping me warm. So as long as I'm outside doing things, I think this will be okay. But if there's any sort of standing around or anything like that, I'm definitely gonna need the heavier coat. So definitely glad I brought it. I found out last night after looking on a map that the place I'm actually going is not here in Lethbridge. It's actually 88 miles to the west, almost on the British Columbia border. So that's disappointed. I have a 2-hour drive ahead of me, and it snowed last night. It's still kind of snowing now. I was gonna roll down my window to take some footage. It's 3 degrees and the window is frozen up. So, fun times. So yeah, you'll also notice that at this Econo Lodge they have handicap suites and bridal suites. Yeah, I don't think any woman has ever in her wedding plans been like, oh yes, and then after we're married, I want him to take me to the bridal suite at the Econo Lodge. Like, I just don't feel like that's ever happened. Like, literally ever. So I thought that was pretty funny that they're advertising that, because I don't know any honeymoon couple that wants to start their honeymoon in a medium-sized town in southern Canada at a bridal suite at an Econo Lodge. But I thought that was funny and entertaining. So we're off to Blairmore in Crow's Nest Pass. 88-mile journey ahead. Gonna go grab some Starbucks right now. And see you there. Hey guys, we're at the Frank slide today. I'm taking some footage with crazy hair, as you can see from the wind, which is blowing that way. Um, and I'm making some more videos for the movie, so look forward to that. So this is a view of the Frank slide. The history of the Frank slide goes like this. In the morning of April 29th, 1903, a rock on the side of what was called Turtle Mountain, because of the way the mountain is composed, slid off the mountain and into the valley below. It ran right into the mining town of Frank. It completely obliterated the town. It killed 90 people, which makes it the most deadly rock slide in Canadian history. Of course, everyone was at home and it was the middle of the night, so there was almost no warning. People heard a noise, some people woke up, but by the time you heard the noise, it was already too late because the rock was already coming towards you. The mine was reopened, the railway was put back. Most of the town was not replaced. A lot of the town moved down the road to Blairmore in the Crow's Nest Pass area. There's no town there now, obviously. It was a very kind of small town. It was just kind of around this mine. So it's a stunning view of of just this terrible rock slide. You can see in the footage people where the road is and a little bit where the town was, but you can kind of see all of that down there. I got this footage at magic hour because I had been up there earlier in the day. I'd taken a bunch of footage. There's a visitors center that tells the history and all this sort of thing. I've been up there earlier. The footage was not good. I don't know what was wrong with the camera, but the footage was not good. So I ended up going back the same day to take more footage, and actually ended up being better because I got all this awesome magic hour footage. You can kind of feel the spirit of the people out there. Like, I was all alone. It was very windy, which is why there's no audio on this clip. And it was a very eerie environment, but it's just amazing to see rocks the size of cars just rushing down the mountain into the valley, moving like water. Obviously, no footage of the slide exists, and it would have been too dark to really see anything anyway. But it's quite stunning as a natural feature, and just how the mountain changed. The mountain is still collapsing. The Canadian government has had to take some steps to try to prevent another slide from happening. So that's the Frank slide. We're gonna go right into the tour of the town of Blairmore in the Crow's Nest Pass municipality. So I just did a tour of the town. There's a couple interesting restaurants. A lot of stuff was closed. I was there in March. It's the dead of winter. No one's around except crazy people like me who decide to drive to Canada in the middle of winter. So there's a great barber shop, there's a couple banks, there's a couple restaurants, a great pizza place, a gas station. Some of the old mining equipment is around, like there's a train engine that has been preserved and some other stuff from the region's mining past. Much like many small mountain towns in the United States, like in Colorado, where I'm from, all this sort of thing. Uh, the mining town is kind of slowly dying because there are no jobs because the mines have all long closed and all moved on. So that's the town of Blairmore in Crow's Nest Pass in Alberta, Canada. I do have to say that the views in this part of Canada are truly stunning. Don't tell anyone from Colorado, but I've always thought the Canadian Rockies are more beautiful than the American Rockies. The mountains are taller, there's more snow. It's just beautiful, and saying the formations are awesome. And in this town, you're almost completely surrounded by mountains, and just everywhere's a postcard. North, south, east, west, no matter where you're looking, it's just like stunning mountain view, turn left, stunning mountain view, like more stunning mountain view. So this drive, there's a road through the town and there's a road around the town. And so the first part of the clip is me driving around the town and then me driving back through the town of Blairmore, where you get to see all the amazing stuff. The White Barn House is a really interesting bar. I did not go in because I saw a lot of trucks, a lot of dudes. I didn't feel like getting into some like weird fight or something. That's not my scene. So I never actually went in there, but the town is, it's small and interesting. It's definitely dying, but it's small and interesting. I did get an amazing haircut from the 91-year-old barber who'd been in the same shop for 50 years. It's just a very interesting, fascinating little town. Great, interesting place to spend a month. People were super nice, super friendly. Shout out to the IGA grocery store on the edge of town who kept me going and was nice enough to give me my cut meats in pounds rather than grams because I forgot to do the computations in advance. And the nice lady was like, "Oh, the scale is made in Ohio. It does pounds too. Just tell me how much you want." So it was just overall just an amazing, wholesome place. I honestly would go there again and just hang out for a while. So that's Blairmore, Canada. So now we're back to Denver and on our way east. We're back here at the border. I think the people in the van ahead are Mennonite. I saw them in the duty-free shop making some purchases, and they didn't have the caps like Mennonites I'm familiar with, but I think they must be Mormon, I think. Some sort of religious cult, because, they have the strange clothing that no one wears anymore. They're dressing like it's 1855. Either way, we're back here at the U.S. border. Got my passport out. Got a bottle of whiskey for the parents. They requested a nice sipping whiskey. So, and I got myself a huge candy bar for later. So that'll be good. And, so we're just having a little wait here at the border, and then we'll be back in the good old United States of America. So we're driving through the wilds of Montana. Got a 2-lane road here, which is fun. Taking a long sweeper curve. Got a little bit of a tire issue. Back passenger side tire is low. Tried to fill it, wouldn't really take air. It's supposed to be at 35, and it's kind of stable at 20, which is good, but not great. Stopped at a Walmart, because that's the parking lot I was in, and tried to see if I could have them look at it, but it was going to be an hour wait, and I have some miles to put under, so I'm kind of babying it into Billings. As you can see, we're going to pass a sign right now. It's 159 miles, which is great. That's only a few hours driving. Tomorrow morning I'm going to see if I can find a tire shop to have it looked at. I have a full-size spare, so I may just get it swapped out and get it fixed in Denver. But yeah, so here's the wilds of Montana, and yeah, we're just going to keep an eye on the tire situation and make sure it's okay, and proceed from there. So I can't feel any air coming out of it, put my hands all around it, tried to find a leak. I don't feel any leaks, I don't see any damage. There is a little bit of kind of surface, I guess, cracking on the sidewall. That's not concerning. It doesn't go deep at all. I don't think that's it. And like I said, it's not taking more air, but it is stable. It also just could not be stable on the rim, and it could just have a very, very either slow leak or something like that, where it's just letting out minute amounts of air. I also just bought a new tire gauge. The gauge could be bad. I tested the other tires. They seem to be fine. So I think it is that tire. So we're just going to keep an eye on it and proceed from there. It's exciting to pass through this landscape again. The last time I was here, it was totally covered in snow. So, yeah, it's good to see it without all the snow. So, here are the wilds of Montana. Hey guys, it's Cameron here. We are in the wild of Wyoming today. Just pulled in to Sheridan. I'll flip the camera around and take some landscape views. Yeah, so tire problem solved this morning. Went to a tire shop. Turned out there was a screw in the passenger rear tire. So got it all fixed up. They didn't even charge me for it, which was super generous of them. So that was really nice. And yeah, so I left super late, so I'm going to get in super late, but that's okay. I don't mind driving in the evening. However, onboarding some Red Bull is very much required. So, yeah, so that's the update from here. We're in Wyoming, and we're well on our way to Denver. Alright, guys, we are back in Colorado, finally. The drive across Wyoming was a little insane. It was just long. It was bands of rain. I need to slow down because this person's not going very fast. And yeah, so it's just gonna be back in Colorado, just past the Welcome to Colorado sign. I didn't get footage of it. Oh well, we'll live. Yeah, so all the more closer to Denver and ending this 2-day trip back from Canada. So here's Colorado. Fabulous, wonderful, beautiful Colorado. Hey guys, it's Cameron here. We are leaving Colorado here shortly. Not super soon. We're not even to Lyman yet, so we got another like 100-ish miles to get out of Colorado. Day one of the final part of this journey. So car is absolutely loaded from stem to stern. And I had to ship a whole bunch more stuff to get the car a little bit lighter because a little bit heavy coming in to Denver, so that's good, but got everything packed up, got everything figured out, so that was really exciting. Yeah, this is the part of Colorado that most people don't see. Most people think about the mountains, which are behind me. But this is most of the state. The mountains are a pretty small portion compared to the big flat. And yeah, I like the plains though. I went to college in Greeley, which is a town about 2 hours north of I-70 here, where I am in the state. And yeah, I actually kind of like the flat. It does get a bit boring and it gets really brown. As you can tell, it's the early part of spring and the green up hasn't really started yet. So winter is tough. And it's worse when this is all covered in white because you just end up with vast fields of white. But this is the plains of Colorado, cruising down to Colorado, cruising to Kansas. Tonight we're going to get to Topeka, and yeah, it's going to be great. So yeah, here's some Colorado views. Hey guys, we are in the great state of Kansas. I'm going to pass this guy as we talk. I don't think you can see it because they're a little far away. There are so many windmills out here. Like, it's just amazing to see the amount of electric windmills and how, like, Kansas is like, they have a lot of wind and they're on the forefront of renewable energy. And it's pretty great, I'm not gonna lie, to see all these windmills. I'm on I-70 heading east. I have traveled this route in my life 20 times back and forth. I remember in the 90s there was a whole lot of nothing out here, which has changed a little bit. If you look closely, I think these windmills are going to come into view on the left side of the frame. The road's bumpy, so the footage is a little bumpy. It's just amazing to see how much renewable energy is happening in a red state where they probably don't even believe in climate change. But clearly they're on board with the money from windmills, and they're just everywhere. I've passed so many batches of windmills here through Kansas. It's been pretty remarkable. But yeah, so this is Kansas. We're getting into the lower altitude, kind of more green, humid direction. We're getting off the high desert. It occupies most of Colorado, and you can feel the humidity kind of starting to happen because it's only 63 degrees outdoors, and I just shut the moonroof to do this video, and it definitely is a little warm in here. And if I weren't going to be opening the window after this video, I would definitely put on the air conditioning because it's a little hot. But everything's cool. So there's been a little bit of road construction, which is okay. But yeah, we're cruising through the great state of Kansas. I've passed some cops. There was a very unhappy driver from Oregon that flipped a cop off as he was pulling away, presumably for speeding. That's one of the reasons why I try to use cruise control. Also, my car is packed, so I can't really do any sort of speeding right now. But yeah, it's free money, especially when you're out of state. So yeah, so this is Kansas, and as you can see coming into view, a lot of windmills. So many windmills. Alright, we have another journey in Cameron's cheap hotel rooms. As I have said throughout this trip, not a ton of money to on hotels. And so this one's actually kind of okay on the inside. Even the bathroom's pretty good, even though the light takes a minute to turn on. That light, yeah, it takes like several minutes to turn on. I just took a shower. This is all pretty normal, honestly. Like, the door could use some work. It's not bad. Not nearly as bad as some of the other hotels on this trip. However, The neighborhood. Oh my goodness. The neighborhood is a little sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. When I pulled into this place, I seriously am kind of like, oh no, this place must be closed. I must be at the wrong address or the wrong location. Nope. No, this really is the place. This is it. The sign totally doesn't work. It looks like it might have been a Days Inn at one time that got bought by the hotel chain. The parking lot has seen better days. The outside of the buildings are definitely mid-century. Yeah, so this is Topeka, Kansas. That's where we're staying tonight. Tomorrow it's Indianapolis. Hello everyone. It's day 2 of this journey. We're on our way to Indianapolis. Yeah, fun times. Yeah, there's all sorts of exciting things to see along the highway. We've reached the land of billboards. As you go out west, there's a lot fewer billboards than there are here in the east. And this stupid truck's gonna make me break my cruise control. There's also some interesting billboards. You get to see a lot of anti-abortion billboards in this part of the country. We're deep into the red states. There was just sign that said, "I knew my mother's voice before I was born." Anti-abortion billboard. Yeah, just all sorts of other ones. There's a very popular cheese store, that I think was a couple exits back. Yeah, all sorts of fun times. So, yeah, we're in Missouri today. We're heading to Indianapolis. Left out of Topeka this morning. It's been a good day so far. Pretty smooth driving. It's amazing how much mountains and hills really kill your gas mileage, because I've been getting fantastic gas mileage on all these flat plains. The car's just absolutely sipping gas, which is good for the budget, so that's a really nice perk. But yeah, oh, and we're passing a porn store over on the right. Fun times. Oh, and a strip club, it looks like. Guys and girls, my type of place. I could do that. So yeah, so here we are, and yeah, this is the great state of Missouri. We're crossing the Missouri River. This is one of 2 major rivers we will cross today. Next up, we're going to do the Mississippi later on, but right now, it's the Missouri. Great old bridge. I love old bridges. Alright, we are in St. Louis. We are crossing the Missouri River again. Gonna go over one of these great old bridges that I love. My family and I did a couple months in St. Louis when I was in high school, when I was 15. And I think we just passed the Embassy Suites where we stayed at that time. So that was fun and super exciting. Yeah, so we're not going to go through St. Louis. I'm actually going to go around the edge of St. Louis on their ring road. So, in fact, I got to get over for that here shortly, because that exit is coming up. But we're in St. Louis. We're crossing over rivers. We're making our way, slowly but surely. We are officially crossing the Mississippi River. We're a bit south of the city, but there she is. And the railing for this highway as well. And the A-pillar of my car, but never us mind about that. Speaking of the Great Mississippi River, distant relative of mine, James Buchanan Eads, was an engineer in the Civil War. He invented the ironclad ship, which helped fight on rivers during the Civil War. He also built the first permanent bridge across the Mississippi, which is now a bridge for the St. Louis light rail system. So, and a pedestrian bridge as well. So the train goes in the middle and the pedestrians go across the top. So yeah, fun little family fact. That's my mother's side of the family. So, yep. And I think also we're now officially in Illinois. So, welcome to the great state of Illinois. Oh yes, the sign's coming up. I'll wait for the sign to pass. Wait, I don't always get to see the state signs because I don't always film when I'm passing by them. But yes, welcome to Illinois, the land of Lincoln. This is like only the second or third time I've been in Illinois. So, yeah, fun times. What's round on both ends and high in the middle? It's Ohio. Welcome to the great state of Ohio. Alright, we are here in Pennsylvania. They had a very large sign. I did not get footage of it, unfortunately, but it was very large. I already am close to West Virginia. We passed through a tiny sliver of it between Ohio and Pennsylvania. That's how some of the weird shapes of these eastern states get sometimes. And yeah, so we left Ohio, we went through a sliver of about 10 miles of West Virginia, and now we're in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're headed on our way to Pittsburgh, where I'm going to cut south into Maryland and head into West Virginia. I have not spent a whole lot of time in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Passed through, but not really hung out a little bit. When my friends first moved to West Virginia, we went to Hagerstown for some shopping and whatnot, and had lunch. And that was pretty much like the extent of my interaction with the Commonwealth. So, I'm sure as the months and years go by, I will have more time to check out this fine state. But yeah, so yeah, if it wasn't obvious before, we're definitely in the east with these forests the way they are, and other things. So it's yeah, it's a friendly reminder. The climate and the whole everything has changed compared to earlier in the trip. So here is a very important part of the country in electoral politics, Western Pennsylvania. So I didn't have any footage of the house in Shepherdstown, so I dug out some pictures that I took for 34th Parallel magazine, and you can kind of see the house behind me. It's mostly me, but the house is there. It was the best I could do. And I ultimately did not stay in Shepherdstown. When I actually finally put this whole film together, I ended up moving back to Seattle. Shepherdstown was a great town. The area was a bit difficult. There wasn't much to do. DC was a couple hours away. I didn't have a ton of money to be driving into DC all the time, and honestly, I didn't really want to. So one of the weird things about this part of my life is that I was kind of very much into staying at home and being a loner, which is unusual for me because I used to work in nightlife and I used to spend my whole life in bars and nightclubs, and going out, and home is like a place I sleep and shower but I'm never at. In recent years, I've been a lot more like stay home, stay put, work on projects, all that sort of thing. Yeah, so that was a lot of Shepherdstown. Shepherdstown itself does not have a lot to do. There's a couple great bars. Shout out to the Mecklenburg Inn from 1759, which is really awesome. And also the Devonshire Arms, which is this really cool kind of British themed pub in town. Both great places to hang out. I'm not a super big bar person. Also, End Town Run is a great place in Shepherdstown as well. I'm not a super big bar person. I ended up meeting someone while I was in Shepherdstown, and she was really great and was much more into the bar and social scene than I was, and she kind of drug me out of my house to go actually hang out with people and see people and all that sort of thing. Everyone that I met was very welcoming and really awesome to me, which was nice. A lot of people were not confused by my being a writer and artist. Shepherdstown is one of the top 10 mountain towns to live in West Virginia, and some people are actually brave enough to do the commute into DC every day. There's convenient rail access about 5 miles out of town. So I found the road situation in West Virginia to be very frustrating. Driving to and from the house in West Virginia is like driving through a nature safari. You will see deer and armadillo and raccoons and rabbits. I mean, you can kill a whole meal just driving between Shepherdstown and Charlestown. So I found that frustrating, and it made me not want to go out at night a lot because I just didn't. I had to drive super slow. I didn't want to ruin my car by running over a deer, which did actually happen. I kind of clipped the hind quarters of the poor thing, and I probably killed 5 rabbits with my car. So yeah, it made it for a very frustrating experience. It took a long time to get anywhere. I think part of that is because I find I'm a slower driver than most other people. Everyone's like, oh, it's like 15 minutes to this place. And I'm like, 15 minutes? It takes me a half hour. So I just think I don't drive as fast as other people, and that's why it takes me longer to get places. But everything is kind of a long ways away. So there were lots of trips to Winchester, Virginia. There were lots of trips to Martinsburg, which is kind of the nearest kind of bigger town for a lot of things. So just lots of driving. I mean, that's living in a rural area, is lots and lots of driving. Just so much driving. So that was kind of part of the whole thing with Shepherdstown. I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend after a year, and as a result of the breakup, needed to leave the area. And so that's how I eventually, after 6 months, ended up back in Seattle. And I left right as the pandemic was starting. And my 6-month journey back to Seattle and all the things that happened on that trip is another story for another time. So I unfortunately didn't film my whole 6-month journey, but I did get lots of great pictures. I have lots of stories to tell. So CameronJournal.com. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Seattle to Shepherdstown.